From the studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida, this is the Royal Palmcast, the show about people and things that realtors, homebuyers, and home sellers care about. And now, here's your host, Jim Sanville.
Thank you, Jerry Johnson. Thank you, and welcome to the Royal Palmcast. I'm Jim Sanville. This is the show where, as Jerry said, we talk about things that realtors, home buyers, and home sellers care about. We talk about houses, financing, insurance, property owner rights, curb appeal, etc., etc. We are coming to you from Fort Myers, Florida, at the headquarters of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. And today we have two wonderful guests. I'm really excited about having these guys on. Jim Reynolds and Matt Jones, who are both local realtors. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you. We're going to be talking a little bit about mentoring, in that Jim is Matt's mentor, and that would make Matt the mentee, right? Is that the term?
I believe that is the correct terminology.
It does sound correct. Yes, yeah. It does.
That's cool. It's not like a manatee at all, but it's a mentee.
It does have a Florida ring to it.
It really does. Thanks, Jim. So we are going to talk a little bit about your careers, your personal life, if you don't mind. We're going to pry just a little bit. Feel free not to share, but we hope you do. So if you don't mind, Jim, we'll start off with you. Tell me a little bit about your story, your background, how you get into real estate, that sort of thing.
I have an interesting story. I got involved at an early age. I'm the oldest of 9, and I remember bucking the system at home. And my mom actually told me, when you have your own house, you can make your own rules. And so I actually bought my first house when I was 19 years old. 19 in St. Louis. And wow. And I did obtain a real estate license in St. Louis at one point, but I worked with my hands, and I was a contractor and a landlord, and I didn't really do much of the sales, but I had really this bug in me for ownership, and I bought a number of houses in St. Louis, and that's how the story began.
Well, how did it lead to your current career?
As obviously owning a home when I was 19, a couple of years went by, and when I was involved in a 20-year marriage, we decided to be warm, and so we were going to move to Florida. And our youngest daughter was married, and so we were free to move about. And we actually went down to the other coast. I'd heard about Cape Coral, and we landed on the other coast for Judy's brother's birthday.
Meaning the east coast of Florida?
The east coast of Florida, Pompano, Margate Hall. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, let's rent a car and go look at that property over in Cape Coral. She says, no, this is my vacation. I want sunshine, and I'm not getting in a car. I want to enjoy my trip. And I said, well, you can enjoy your trip and enjoy the sunshine for the 5 days, or we could rent a car and you can enjoy sunshine for the rest of your life. And she said, well, we're going to get a car. So we drove over here and immediately bought a condo, and then we bought another one, and we went back to St. Louis and started selling off the real estate in St. Louis and buying more down here.
So what year did you come here to?
99.
Okay, so 20 years you've been here.
Correct.
Wow, interesting. Matt, tell me your story. I know it's an interesting one.
Not like setting me up for failure here.
No.
Originally from northern Jersey, and if you're from the tri-state area, the running joke is Florida's just a suburb of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. So my mom retired down here 20 years or so ago, and I've been coming down to visit for the holidays for that time.
Really?
So I had a slight idea of the landscape and the layout down here.
Yeah. You liked what you saw, clearly.
I like visiting my family and my mom. It's a big change. I was living in California for almost 30 years.
Oh, it is a big change.
So it's quite the culture shock.
Yeah.
And then, long story short, Mom got sick and passed.
Yeah.
And I came down to handle the estate and the sale of her property. And guess who sold that property?
I'm going to guess it's Jim Reynolds.
That might be me.
It would be Jim.
Good job, Jim.
Good
job.
Thank you.
And so that's how our paths crossed.
Interesting. Okay, we'll get into a little bit more about how you guys work together, and Jim, you share your knowledge with Matt, that kind of thing, in just a few minutes. But I want to talk a little bit about everything that you've learned, Jim, in the real estate business. You've been in real estate for how many years?
I bought my first house in 1979, so quite some time.
When did you become a realtor?
I first held the realtor's license in 1986, but I didn't do a lot with it in St. Louis.
Okay.
So I was more on the construction side of the business, and although I bought and sold, I did not hold a license.
So you worked with developers, that sort of thing?
No, there's Lambert Airport in St. Louis, and I owned inexpensive homes around Lambert.
Okay. And so you've been in real estate for a long time. You said since 86. My math is horrible. I'm just going to say that's a very long time, right? So you must have learned a few lessons along the way. What's the most important 2 or 3 things you've learned?
When I talk to young people that come out here to purchase property, the first house that I bought was $20,000. It was a little slab home, and I put down $2,000 of my own money. And then the next year, the realtor told me it was worth $22,000. And so I
Bingo.
looked at what my investment was, my $2,000. I'd made 100% of my money, and that started me on an investment career.
I can see where that would get the wheels turning.
Got them going.
100%, yeah. So you right now you're based in Cape Coral, is that right?
I am. I'm out of
both of you?
both of us.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. So how's business these days, by the way?
I happen to be a summertime performer, so the summers are really good to me. My best month ever was in August. And I know a lot of the other realtors, we'll talk about January, February, March, and in-season performance. Perhaps I deal more in the summertime with our locals, so I do sell to teachers and policemen and so forth, and the summertime might bring about better deals and more affordable deals for them.
So you tend to sell more to the established folks down here than snowbirds, or
in the summertime, and then in the wintertime I'll take the next
Switch
traffic
gears.
that I'll switch gears. Sure.
Interesting. I would think summertime's so challenging here, but not so much, huh?
No, not so much. The basis to a good business is going to be a referral system, and once you've done it for maybe 7 to 10 years, your referral base is probably pretty good, and it'll come pretty easy.
But that doesn't come just because you're hanging around and waiting for them. I mean, you've got to go out and fan the flames somehow, right? How do you do that?
This is a full-time job, and I mentioned before we started the podcast that Matt and I will play softball tonight. You're always working, so I've sold homes to the softball guys and listed homes with them, so you're always working.
Yeah, interesting. So Matt, I know you're going to closings here and there, doing well. You're fairly new as a realtor, correct?
That's correct.
How long have you been doing it?
About 2 years.
Yeah. And what have you learned along the way? Is it any different from what you had expected before you decided to become a realtor?
I don't know that I had a lot of expectations coming in. I was encouraged by Jim, and I saw a means to an end. I decided that I was going to stay here as opposed to going back to California.
Yeah.
So I really had some decisions to make, some life decisions.
Yeah.
And I hate to throw you under the bus, but Jim was like, hey, go get your license, and you can do this.
Yeah. So
I was encouraged, and that was the beginning. It was just, hey, you can do this, go.
Yeah. I've been in the real estate business. I'm not a realtor, but here at the association for just a few months now. And one thing I've learned is that realtors can come from any walk of life. I've been surprised from time to time to learn that you did what before you did this? Stand-up comedian, as you know. Our friend Sheena Reagan was in a different field, and still is. But so what did you do in California, Matt?
I ran call centers for the accounts receivable management industry, which is a polite way of saying I ran collection agencies.
That's where I know your voice. Okay.
Yeah. If you spoke to me, then
You owed money.
you were deep.
Oh, you
were in deep.
When people said, I want to speak to the supervisor, or the supervisor said, I want to speak to the... Okay, I get it. No, I didn't. I don't remember your voice.
That's correct.
I don't.
Either.
For the record. Jerry, no?
No, not me.
No, I was behind the scenes. I was training managers to manage
Okay.
employees.
Yeah.
I got into it very early and found that it was a niche that I really enjoyed. I like teaching. And again, means to an end.
Yeah. It must have been a little bit stressful, though, at times, like any business.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, I was representing the largest banks in the world, and we had recovery goals on a monthly basis that were in the millions and millions of dollars.
Jeez. Wow. Yeah. Sounds like a challenge. But so you guys, you bought a house from Jim, and what was the conversation?
Actually,
like?
we did both. I sold my mom's house,
Okay.
And I bought a condo all in the same transaction.
Yeah, you told me that, of course. Yeah. So
So that was his first my first exposure to what we call a double dip.
wow, that's kind of the goal, isn't it? Or triple dips, even.
It does happen. And,
Yeah.
it hasn't been happening lately, and I'm okay with that. We go to work and we provide a service, and it will happen.
So you guys got off to a good start in terms of your business relationship. And Matt, like you say, you took the dive and went in after some encouragement from Jim. Was there any trepidation at all, or?
The problem that I had was not learning the material. It was learning how I learned, relearning how I absorb
Your
information.
learning style.
Yeah.
Now,
that's
what is that? What is your learning style?
I take a lot of good notes, really good detailed notes, and then I go home and I rewrite them and put them in, make them look pretty, and that way I'm absorbing it. So it took me a couple classes just to remember how to learn. And once I did that, it was very, very easy.
Yeah, easy, huh? But there's a lot of hard work involved.
As far as the schooling, there's numerous tests you got to pass.
Yeah.
It's a process, but the information is not difficult. However, what you learn in the classroom does not always translate out into the real world, as you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Jim, when you became a realtor, when you started out, were you you jumped in with both feet first, right?
I did, and the office part of my real estate career when I was a younger investor and contractor, the people were standoffish in the office, and I found that awkward that somebody wouldn't answer my question and they were too busy with me, and perhaps is why I'm willing to help people today. I just I don't see we're in this together. This is a group effort. For many people, too, the investment money-wise to get into this business is not a large sum. There's a 63-hour class, and there's some business cards, and there's a background check and a credit check and some fingerprinting, and there's a little bit of work to do. Mm-hmm. But the investment, I owned a dump truck, and I had payroll and 10 people working for me, and I had a lot of dump trucks. I had a lot of overhead. It costs a lot to run a construction company. Mm-hmm. And this business, we come into this a little bit slower. So we come in and we develop and build a business. And I told Matt that you're going to make what you make your first year, and very likely you'll double your income for 2, maybe even 3 years in a row, if you'll stay with the program and do the work. Mm. And if I'm available to help you, I will. Our board is probably second to none. There's so much education that's available, and it's free. You just sign up for the classes, and there could be a small charge on some of them. The charge is so small, it should be considered free because you're getting an awful lot for your money. So. Mm-hmm.
I know you're very involved here with the Realtor Association. You're on Leadership Council, is that correct?
Leadership 2019 is a program that I was invited to, and I'm grateful to be invited into that program. I think there's 11 or 12 of us that are actively working the leadership, and that's another opportunity to give back. And in that process too, I'm gaining unbelievable knowledge and a new contact list. And I'm kind of hanging out with the shakers and the movers, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I feel like I am too. Just being in your presence, you've got such a good story, and you've done such good work and been successful in real estate. So I want to find out more about your mentoring relationship with Matt. What does that consist of, and how did that start?
You know, the first thing is to overcome fears, and one of Matt's first questions was, I'm not made of money. What's it going to cost me, and when will I get my first check? That may be somebody's first questions for anybody that came involved into this business. And through the process of getting licensed and so forth and stuff is not expensive. I want to say $1,200 to $1,500 total in fees. And your first check's going to come when you get it. It's nice to have a warm market. It's nice to be taught how to work out of your warm market, and it's also nice to be taught and mentored into asking for referrals and developing your business.
Mm-hmm. All right. And besides the knowledge, Matt, that you gained from Jim's mentoring, are there other sort of intangible benefits that you receive from the relationship that you've been able to establish with Jim?
Yeah, of course. We're friends as well.
Oh, okay.
He exposed me to the softball league, which I I love.
Yeah,
there
you go.
I'm a kind of stranger unto myself down here. Although my mom had moved down here, and I was familiar with the area from visiting once a year for a week at a time. No family, really no friends. So I started from ground zero, and so the benefits. Although I don't necessarily want to, blow his ego up too much, but he gave me an anchor here for somewhere to establish and build a career and get into other activities, which expands the people I know and the sphere of influence. And as he said, you're always working. And so now that I'm in this real estate, everybody I meet and everybody I shake hands with is going to know.
Yeah.
Hey, if there's anything I can do to help, it's a pleasure meeting you.
It must feel good when you get the call back saying, hey, I want to list my house. Let's talk.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome. That's got to be good. So we have come up on a break, so I'm going to ask Jerry to start the break music. Oh, there it is. There it is. I love that music. It makes me so happy every time I hear it. We're here today at the Royal Palmcast with Jim Reynolds and Matt Jones, two realtors who are mentor, mentee. We're talking about their relationship, what makes it work, and what benefits they've received from it. And we'll be right back after this message on the Royal Palmcast.
Are you a realtor in the Fort Myers, Florida area or thinking of becoming one? If so, you should know that the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association is here to support you. Sure, we offer access to the multiple listing service, but that's just the beginning. We also offer certification classes, exclusive online tools, and a peer network of over 7,000 local realtors and business partners. We also operate a Realtor store with signage, lockboxes, maps, and other Realtor essentials at our locations in Fort Myers, South Fort Myers, and Cape Coral. Our advocacy arm, RPAC, works to make sure your voice is heard in Washington, Tallahassee, and at the local level. We speak out on issues important to the real estate industry, like water quality, private property rights, and tax matters. Realtors from throughout Lee County, Florida, and beyond count on the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association to help keep them at the top of their game. If you're a realtor or an aspiring realtor in the Fort Myers area, you'll want to take advantage of all we have to offer. Contact us today. You can start by visiting our website, rpcra.org, or by following us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. The Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association is here for you.
We are back. We're here today on the Royal Palmcast with Jim Reynolds, local realtor, Cape Coral, Florida, and Matt Jones, also a Cape Coral realtor. They're talking today about their mentor-mentee relationship, Jim being the mentor, Matt the mentee, and I'm your host, Jim Sanville. So we're going to jump back into our discussion about mentoring and how that's benefited both of you. And tell me, Jim, about some of the tricks and techniques, if you will, of mentoring.
The mentoring process starts with a new person that wants to earn a paycheck, and the paychecks don't come every Friday. They come when you have a closing. And the quickest way that I can take a new realtor or any realtor to a closing into a paycheck is to get them into an open house. Mm-hmm. And I do have an inventory of listings, and it's quite obvious that I can't hold 8 and 9 listings and more open. I can only hold one. So that's one part of the business where the mentor can be mentee can be a benefit to the mentor. I can have demanding sellers that want that house held open every week, every other week, or every month, and I've got to schedule those. And my gift to the mentee is that there will be people coming into those houses, and those people are here. They're right here today. They have a checkbook, they have a desire, or they wouldn't have walked into that home. And this might be opposed to working an internet site or internet leads, because those have to be developed much farther before you ever see the person, eye to eye. Mm-hmm. So my concept is that those listings are a stream, and the fish swimming in the stream are the buyers. And if I can't hold that listing open on Saturday because I'm working with clients or I have another listing, those fish swim by that house. No one catches them. Mm. So I'm mentoring Matt, and those fish are swimming by. Why not allow that agent to earn a living and get in front of those clients?
And so you've indeed done that, and yes?
Oh, absolutely. And I get compliments from homeowners who I've have listings that perhaps another agent had for a while, and the homeowner says, he never held my house open. You've held my house open 12 times. They're very appreciative to the exposure.
So, Matt, you'll go over from time to time and hold an open house. You'll bake some cookies and get things going.
Funny that you say that, because we actually do bake cookies for a smell in the home. We're guys, so we just get a tube of cookies at the grocery store. We cut them off, and then we probably eat them all too. But
I always thought that smell was your cologne, but that's the actual cookie baking.
No cookie cologne.
That's what's happening there. So you've been to some open houses, Matt, and done the work.
I've done many open houses.
Have you really?
Absolutely.
And what kind of payoff do you get from that?
Exactly what he's saying. I mean, initially, there's no scripts. There's nothing that he can hand me that says, well, when somebody walks through that door, you say A, B, C. If they say this, you say that. You have to develop a rapport. And so the first time I sat in an open house, I mean, he didn't send me in unarmed, but I had, everything was a question. Everything was, what do I do? What do I do? So getting over that fear, getting over the interaction with somebody that walks in. As you know, people are all different. Some people walk in very boisterous and open and willing to talk, and some people are very closed up. And so the ability to engage with different people from different backgrounds is something that I absolutely learned from doing this.
Yeah, I could see how that would help develop that skill in that setting.
And exactly verbatim what he said has happened to me several times, where I've met somebody, they weren't interested in this particular house, but they allowed me to show them another house. And so turning the fish swimming by, to use his terminology, into a client.
So next thing you know, you get a closing to go to, right?
Next thing I know, I'm running back to Jim. Jim, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? They want me to show them this. They want me to show them that.
You talk them off the ledge, right, Jim?
Well, and let me interject there, because this is important. It's okay to be the new person and to have the clients come in. It's okay not to know the answer. And you can tell a new client that, I don't want to give you misinformation. If you'll let me get back to you tonight, if you give me an email or phone number, I'll get back to you with the correct information. And a lot of people appreciate you being honest with them. And Matt has learned a lot now. We go through a class and we go through a school, which is a format, and then we get into an open house and we get in front of clients, and I consider that the school of hard knocks. So there's a technique and there's a style that you'll develop on your own. Each person will be an individual realtor, and they'll have their own individual style. And then based upon experience, I take all the classes I can here at the board. There's more knowledge, and our industry changes too. So some of the knowledge that I knew in the 80s from my first experiences, that's gone. That techniques, that those industry standards are gone, and we've developed. So we need to stay on top of our game.
I'd like to ask both of you this: what specifically, Jim, have you advice would you offer to other realtors who are considering mentoring because of that at that stage in their career and they're ready to do it?
An interesting thing is that you might look at your listing agreements. There's actually a space for two listing agents on when you enter a listing into the MLS, and so there's another spot there to put in a person's name, and maybe that was developed for a reason. And if I'm on a cruise and if I'm with clients and somebody's calling on that property and needs information about that and they can't get me and they need the information now, maybe they would see that co-lister, that second name. I call that second name when I need answers. So right from the start, both people are winning. I've got two phone numbers, two names where someone can reach, and the end result is that we're doing the best job we can for the client.
So you would recommend mentoring?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would want to be cowboys or cowgirls and have one name on a listing. We should use that extra space in there, and we should share the concept of working with the clients.
Gotcha. Jim, or Matt, rather, this is a rhetorical question, but would you recommend to new realtors that they find a mentor to guide them through the process?
Absolutely.
I thought you would say that.
Or conversely, no, because I want, less competition in the long run.
That's plenty of business for everybody here, right?
There absolutely is. There's plenty of fish in our stream.
Good, strong
Our
market.
stream.
Yeah.
Our stream.
Do you sell outside of Cape Coral very often? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
In our MLS has merged too, so we have direct information all the way down past Naples now, and I actually have access to the Port Charlotte board too. So many people, as you get involved in this business, will kind of work the income streams that happen to fly into both airports, whether it's Punta Gorda or the RSW, and those clients will call. I'm trying to integrate Matt a little more into Punta Gorda. It's something that's it's going to be here to stay.
Yeah. Now, as I think you're aware, I've lived in Cape Coral for a month or two, and I was surprised. You hear things about Cape Coral being a sort of a sleepy area from time to time, so I didn't know much about it. I'm not from this area originally, and I came here to Fort Myers for this job, and so I have ended up in Cape Coral, and I absolutely love it. It's surprisingly wonderful. It's got a lot of cool restaurants and places to go and recreational opportunities. I love it. Are people missing the boat sometimes with Cape Coral?
Cape Coral has been found or is being found, and the median age of the people that live there is getting lower and lower.
I thought so, yeah.
When I arrived here in '99, I was actually referred to Cape Coral, and they called it Cape Coma, the home of the newlywed and the nearly dead.
Well,
and that age is getting lower.
Yeah.
And if you look at the demographics too, Target came and Kohl's came, and we've got a couple of Walmarts and Home Depot and Lowe's, and you're watching that because we're at a population base of maybe 170, 180,000 now.
Big.
I think I arrived at like 90,000. So that town is growing, and we don't have smokestacks, and we don't have a basis of a industrial area. So we have the clean air, the clean water, low crime, and we have good school districts, and people are flocking to Cape Coral.
I think it's a hidden gem, which may be a misnomer because it's not hidden. It's right there. it's geographically right in the middle of everything. It's just a wonderful place, and I love living in Cape Coral.
There's over 400 miles of canals. Some of the canals are freshwater, but there's actually more canals than there are in Venice, Italy.
400 miles of navigable canals.
Canals.
Yeah, I read that statistic recently. I'm fascinated by the history of Cape Coral, how it was founded by the Rosen brothers, starting in 1957 or 58. And I learned recently that on Cape Coral Parkway, George's Auto Repair, do you know where that is?
I do.
Maybe Coronado, I think.
And Cape Coral Parkway.
Yeah, so that was that was their sales office. That was the location of it. I don't think it was that specific building, but that's where it all started. And the first houses went down at Redfish Point, which was the name for the whole area at that time. But it's quite a story how they developed this area.
It is a great story, and if you look at all the canals and you look at the engineering feat that happened, the dirt was removed from the canals and then used for the area where the homes and roads would be built. It was a cheaper process than bringing earth into this town. And the Rosen brothers at the time had the largest purchase of earth-moving equipment known to America at that point, because they did a huge earth excavation project.
Wow, that's interesting. I wonder if you could do something like that today.
The Army Corps or the Fish and Wildlife might have something to say about the number of canals. I would hope they wouldn't, but the number of canals is just amazing, and I don't know if that'll be duplicated, but I sure do love living here.
Well, it's there, and it's special. It's unique. I love it. Love Cape Coral. And I want to go to another part of the program now that I'm not sure if I told you guys about, if I warned you in advance, but we're going to do a little something here called the lightning round. Did I warn you about this?
No, but we're ready.
Yeah, I know you are.
Because we're ready for softball, so we're ready for lightning.
You can roll with it. We'll get you out of here. So we're gonna go through a list, and I'll do this with both of you, and you can one answer than the other. Find out a little bit about your favorite things and some of your opinions and that sort of thing. But I'm looking for a soundbite answer, or a yes or a no or a name.
And this is a family-friendly show, correct?
I didn't say that, but we're going to have some silence here.
Just roll. How's it do the cards? You're doing the cards.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my sound effect.
This is going to
now
be
I have to edit the damn
Jerry.
show.
The beauty of editing software.
You were fine until then. So I couldn't imagine what you were doing, holding business cards.
No, wait for the sound effect for you.
Got it.
Because it didn't seem like you were going to leave out the whole tease into the cards thing.
No.
You guys get it together.
I thought he was
Oh
gonna-
my God!
I thought he was going to give us business cards. We already
Here, here's
have
our
most-
business
we're supposed to
already
give
have
out
most of
ours?
those.
These are Mr. Jim Sanville, your host.
I have.
So, yeah.
Do we pass
Highly
them around?
recommend him. All right.
No, we'll come
So
back.
now we need 5 seconds of silence so I can have a
Yeah.
spot to cut to. Okay. So why don't you reintroduce the whole, and now we're going to get into this blah, blah, blah.
And we cut out the family-friendly comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is family friendly.
Or is it? All right, 5 seconds of silence. And now we are going to come to my favorite part of the program, and I hope you guys are sports and are willing to play along. This is called the lightning round. I'm springing this on you, but I know you can roll with it. I want to find out a little bit more about you as a person, so I'm going to ask some quick hit questions, looking for a soundbite answer. And Jerry's going to help me out here because in the lightning round, I do it using my official 3x5 game show host cards that Jerry has. They've actually been hidden in a secret location in a super box in Bimini Basin, Cape Coral, since noon Thursday. And Jerry has just retrieved them. He's going to present me the cards now. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you. Are you folks ready?
We are.
Okay, lightning round. We begin now. Last concert you ever attended? Last concert you attended?
Styx, Tico Arena.
Jerry, big win for Jerry. He's a huge Styx guy. Matt, last concert.
Pearl Jam.
Last book you read, Jim.
Tipping Point.
Matt.
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Gators, Knowles, or other, Jim?
Gators.
Other.
Other. Tell me who other is. Not so much, huh? Roll Tide? And when's the last time you saw snow, Jim?
Wow. Last December in St. Louis with family.
Oh, nice.
Just barely.
Christmas time,
Just
huh?
barely snow.
Yeah. Matt, snow?
Decade, Tahoe.
Decade, Tahoe. No, out west. Yeah, that's right. You're from California or lived in California for 30 years. And where would you live if not in Florida?
Maybe the Caribbean.
Okay. Matt?
San Diego.
Nice. Good pull. I like San Diego a lot. Dogs or cats, Jim?
Dogs.
Dog.
Dogs. Yes, dogs are good. Who's funnier, men or women?
Matt.
Matt?
Jim.
Okay. Men or women? Okay, fair enough. I'll go with that. Now tell me about some of your favorites. Favorite TV show?
Wow, I'm going to go back to Tipping Point.
Matt?
MASH.
MASH, good one. Band. No, we talked about bands. Social media platform.
Facebook.
You're a big social media guy, Matt.
I can't stand social media,
Okay.
but it's a necessary evil. So, yeah, I'll go with Facebook.
Facebook, good. Favorite food?
Cheeseburger.
Matt?
Japanese.
Sports team?
Cardinals.
New York Giants.
Giants having a rough year. Eli's
And
Not
noticed
starting.
I still said
Giants. New York football Giants, as
That's
people
right.
of my age say. All right, vacation spot.
Tahoe or Vegas.
Matt?
South Pacific.
Form of recreation.
Softball.
Music.
Oh, good. Yeah. All right. Changing the subject here just a little bit as we continue the lightning round. Socks with sandals, yes or no?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm with you. Who's your personal hero, Jim?
I would say my father.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I'll go with that as well.
All right. Fair enough. And here's
my
our...
dad or yours?
Your dad.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, nice. Very nice. And now this is our last lightning round question. You get one bucket list item, Jim Reynolds. What is that item?
Wow, I'm going to say Australia for a month.
Ooh, nice. Matt, your bucket list item.
Touring castles in Europe.
Sounds wonderful to me. All right. I want to thank you both for being part of our show today. Jim Reynolds, Matt Jones, realtors from Cape Coral, Florida, mentor, mentee. Thank you for sharing some of your stories, your tips, your tricks, your advice for those who would aspire to be mentors or mentees. I'm sure folks will find it very useful. And I want to thank also Jerry Johnson, who has just queued up the music, which is nice to hear. I love that song. Thanks, Jerry. So thank you very much for being with us today, running the board, Jerry. I also want to thank Beata Jones, our CEO here at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. And I want to invite you to get in touch with us at any time, if you like, by sending an email to shows@rpcra.org. Again, that's shows@rpcra.org at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association here in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm Jim Sanville, your host, and I want to thank you and in advance for subscribing to the show. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, etc., any place you get your podcast. And we look forward to seeing you the next time. Until then, goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Royal Palmcast. Tune in again for more episodes and make sure to check out our sister podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, and our video news show, Realtor's Corner, which can be found on the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sponsorship opportunities for these programs and more coming soon. So stay connected with RPCRA and stay tuned. This has been a production of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.